Hello and welcome. Today I am going to show you guys how I set up my chart for tracking my ovulation, and you could use this for a period tracker as well. If you were just using this chart for your period tracker, you will definitely want to change things up a bit. You don't have to do temping, obviously. There's no point in doing your temperature unless you're really wanting to see when you're ovulating in your cycle, and that could be very beneficial just to kind of get to know. So as I am setting up my chart, I'm going to speed through because this is going to be different for you depending on the different things you want to track. And of course, it's going to be different if you're using a different journal. I'm using the Leuchtturm 1917, and you'll see me going back and forth. I look at my old tracker just to make sure I am setting up my chart how I want it. I've done this for 4 months now, and I have a pretty good idea of how I like to set it up. This page that I'm working on first is where I track my temperatures. I take my temperature every single morning, and as we get into this, I'll talk a little bit about how you can do that. And then this page, I track different things like sex, ovulation tests, cervical mucus, ovulation pain, and then I keep a little space just for notes in case I want to write anything else. And hopefully if you are here at this video, none of that is TMI. So I am just going to continue setting this up. I keep a small area for each of those symptoms that I like to have a spot for to track. And I'm going to get into a little bit about temping. So if you're wanting to start taking your temperature every day to figure out when you're ovulating, every single morning you want to wake up at the same time every morning, take your temperature. And I do believe it's important to use a specific thermometer. I will have the one that I use down below. And you go ahead and mark where your temperature is on your chart. So something that's really important is to make sure that you are getting at least 3 hours of sleep before you are temping. So if you happen to wake up quite a bit earlier on a certain day, it can become a little inconsistent. Or if you're waking up at different times and taking your temperatures, again, that can be inconsistent. So it's very important to make sure you are taking your temperature at the same time every day. Not only will you be able to see when you are ovulating in your cycle, but you can learn a lot from your charting. And I can get into what your charts mean and what the different temperatures mean in a different video because it would be a lot of information. I'm basically just showing you how I set up my chart. So at the top here, I'm going to write the cycle days, and cycle day 1 will always be the first day of your period. So I leave the date spots blank because you're not going to know the date ahead of time unless you're making your chart like on the first day of your period, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to show you a completed month of charting or a completed cycle on my own chart so that I can explain just a couple things and you can kind of see. So here we have the temperatures, and so you can see all of the temperatures that have those pink boxes. That was when I was on my period. So cycle day 1, again, that's your first day of your period. Always, always. And then you can see that temperatures are going to fluctuate. And you will know that you have ovulated when your temperatures have risen for more than 3 days. And you will sometimes see an ovulation dip right before you ovulate as well, which you can see I'm pointing out right there. Now, the temperature shift does need to be quite a bit higher compared to your regular temperatures when you're not on your period. And then basically from there on out, your temperatures will either stay risen if you are pregnant, or if you start your period, they will go back down. My cycle is not completely a normal cycle, so don't compare my chart to what yours may look like. These are just kind of general guidelines to help you get started. You will notice that when you start your own chart, you will find what things are important to you to track and to kind of look at. And of course, it depends if you're trying to get pregnant, if you're trying to avoid getting pregnant, if you're just wanting to get to know your body more. It's all going to change up what you will be putting on your chart. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Be sure to let me know if you do want to see more about what does your chart mean. And I'll talk to you guys later.